Hey guys, in this video I wanted to go over 3 lessons that have changed my life, both as a composer and as a human being. Let's dive in. I have been focused on my career as a composer for over 20 years now, and in those 20 years I have received a huge amount of advice. Number 1, whether you feel like it or not, do the work. As a creative person, I am prone to feeling my emotions largely and strongly, and I'm prone to, being a bit tired, a bit stressed. What this tends to manifest is the kind of feeling of not wanting to do anything. I just can't be bothered. I'm just so tired, I'm so angry, or I'm sad about this. When you are in those moods, you don't feel like working. And that's the problem. You have been told for years and years that you've got to feel the inspiration, you've got to feel the motivation, and that is absolute because it's not about feeling it all the time. It's always there. Your motivation and inspiration is always there. It's a case of taking the action before the motivation comes. So I heard this by a YouTuber I like called Matt D'Avella. Before that, I had heard it as, whether you feel like it or not, just do the work. Matt D'Avella says it so much more eloquently when he says, action precedes motivation. And he's totally right. As a composer, what this has done for me is that even when I didn't feel like working, I made myself work. And then what would happen is this magic would happen. I would suddenly feel motivated by the action of working. The sheer fact of me doing the thing motivated me to do it more. And at the end of it, I had something to show for it. My creation, my music, my art, whatever it was. So if you're lacking motivation or inspiration, just let the ideas out. Let the motivation out. Just do the thing, even if it's just for 10 minutes. So I once wrote a little book, a little pamphlet. It was kind of like a little manifesto to myself. I don't think I ever released it. It was called the 10-minute method. It was just this idea of just do 10 minutes and then see what happens. Number 2, little and often. I spent 6 years of my life attached to musical instruments. And not that, musical instruments were sewn onto my skin whilst I was sleeping. It was the simple fact that I was obsessed with learning instruments. I was obsessed with getting better and understanding how these songs were made. Switching on the light. Understanding how these songs were made, how I could get better as a guitarist, how I could get better as a pianist, how I could get better as a drummer, how I could get better on the violin, and I just soaked myself in this idea of practicing musical instruments. What that led for me was to become a peripatetic guitar teacher, which meant that I would go from school to school teaching kids how to play guitar. What I noticed, another thing we're missold about talent, the kids who did the best weren't always the most, air quotes, talented, weren't always the most, air quotes, musical. The kids that did the best were the ones who put the work in often. They were the ones who practiced. That is what makes the difference. Practice. And it's not that they practiced once a week. Some kids would practice for an hour once a week. Other kids would practice for 10 minutes every day. Which ones do you think got better? Yeah. One of the messages in James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, where he talks about the 1% principle, that if you improve by 1% every day for a whole year, you will be 37% better off by the end of it. These little things compound, and it's the same with practicing an instrument. Just practice it, practice, and before you realise it, you're like, whoa, when can I play this stuff? And it's the same with creating. If you practice a little bit every day, you will find that your writing gets better, you get faster, and you get more confident just by spending a little bit every day. My little book, The 10-Minute Method, it was just the simple idea that you would spend 10 minutes every day as a way to start the motivation, as a way to produce the work, chiseling away. 10 minutes every day for a whole year, you'll have a back catalogue of albums. You would have practiced your willpower as well. It's surprisingly difficult to stick to it because the improvements aren't always obvious. You see this sort of little plateau of improvements. But as a composer, you have something to show at the end of it. You go, oh, I've just done 10 minutes and I've got this idea. Amazing. Number 3, done is better than perfect. I have a reputation in the trailer music world for being a very, very speedy composer. I've been known to produce an album in a day, and as a result, I often get asked the question, how do you produce so much music so quickly? And the answer is that I do not chase perfection. I stick to the rule that done is better than perfect. Because I started to understand that actually perfectionism is just insecurity in a mask. I mean, what is a perfect track? It's subjective. There isn't such a thing as a perfect track. Chasing perfection is a folly. So what you want to do is start to appreciate that when you're chasing perfection, you're afraid. You are afraid that the track isn't good enough. You are afraid that you are not good enough. And you are afraid that you will be criticised and mocked for not being good enough. I know, because I've been there too. And my antidote to that is the notion that done is better than perfect. Produce the work, do all the bits that you know that need to be done, then send it off. And what will happen? If you combine that with action precedes motivation, and little and often, and done is better than perfect, you will find that you can produce ideas really quickly, very confidently, and you will enjoy the process. It all wraps up into this simple idea: create, have fun, let go. Create, have fun, let go. Boom. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.